Hi, Mom and Dad. Congratulations. I'm impressed you figured out how to open this file. Let me start off by saying I participated in a life-changing project this semester in my communications class, in which I've been teaching myself, through trial and error, how to become a better listener by revamping my communication skills, which I'm sure is music to yours. So, let me tell you about how learning to improve my communication skills during this change project, mainly in the area of listening, will affect both my future happiness as well as yours. And hopefully, we will be able to better listen and understand each other from here on out. The goal I have specifically assigned myself is to close my mouth and open my ears, which I'm sure you know is not my strong suit. I decided that by the end of the semester, I wanted to be able to show people how much I truly care about what they have to say, because I know this can only strengthen my relationships with others. To my surprise, this has actually been a really positive experience for me. Learning about my weaknesses in the area of listening has actually helped me to understand myself better as a person. I've realized that I need to be more mindful, which basically means to sit back and be more present in the moment. I need to stop interrupting others and be more attentive to them. So far, I've learned that a competent communicator knows that there are many ways to successfully communicate. They know that communication competence can be learned, and that one can't learn unless they take risks and fail a few times. Finally, they understand that intrapersonal communication is the foundation for all of communication. Even the young kids at my summer job know how to communicate when it comes to sharing snacks and toys. Really, all I want is to make it easier for you to talk to me. Instead of cutting you off or interrupting you when you're trying to tell me something, I want to show you that I care and I'm not as stubborn and thick-headed as I may seem some or maybe most of the time. Because I'm sure there have been countless times I have made it clear that I wasn't really listening to you. So far, I've realized the hardest obstacles I have been facing is holding back the urge to ignore the people I feel the closest to. I guess this is because I've spent my whole life being kind of inattentive to you guys, Eric, and my friends, because I'm just too comfortable around you and assume you already understand that I mean well. But I'm going to change this. To see that changing myself can only happen through trial and error. I have made countless mistakes so far and failed at learning to just hold back and listen multiple times throughout this journey. But your help has been helping me to learn and grow from these mistakes. At first, it was really hard for me to keep track of my own progress. But as time has gone on, I catch myself when I'm about to interrupt someone a lot more often, and I've started to learn how to stop myself from doing so, even when it's really tempting. And I truly do like the result it's having on my life. To keep myself even more inspired and to help me further learn from my mistakes, I have told most of my friends here to alert me every time I interrupt them, or when they see me interrupting someone else. I've also been keeping track of each time I catch myself interrupting, and I even try to ask 2 people every day how their day was with the intent of actually hearing them out. I'm documenting my progress weekly in 2 tally charts. In one of them, I tally every time one of my friends catches me interrupting, and in the other chart, I tally each time I actually catch myself interrupting someone. Over time, my progress has becoming really visible to me. In order for me to be able to document and measure my progress like this, I first had to learn more about the importance of listening, because I now know that communication competence can be learned. So, I consulted my textbook, the web, and asked other people their opinions. And as it turns out, listening, or making understanding others a top priority, is one of the 7 habits of highly effective people by Stephen Covey. There are bounds of evidence to back up this claim. For example, leaders with good listening skills typically have more influence over their team members and much stronger relationships with them. I also learned that people who have good listening skills are more likely to be hired and or promoted than people who don't. And this is because being a good listener simply makes you an easier person to be around and work with, which I'm sure we can all agree with. Even though I've made a lot of progress so far, there are still times that I struggle to bite my tongue and fight the urge to interrupt, especially around people such as you and my closest friends. I constantly find myself thinking, can I at least interrupt this person if they're clearly wrong? Or isn't it okay because they know I care? So I've come to this conclusion. There are some times when it is okay to interrupt. Maybe you see someone being bullied or about to have their feelings hurt in some way. Butting in and cutting someone off might be necessary in that moment. But in comparison, I've also begun to recognize the times I really need to hear people when they speak, such as when a friend is going through a tough time. It's true that communication competence can be learned. I've witnessed myself grow in this 8-week period alone. I went from someone who constantly interrupted others, as I'm sure you all know, to learning how to successfully listen and hear others out. I really grew up, you could say. Sorry, I know you wish I was still that baby. I've also come to realize that none of my progress would have even been possible if I wasn't a good intrapersonal communicator. Intrapersonal communication is basically the communication that happens within a single person. I've learned to be mindful of my thoughts, and this is ultimately helping me learn how to ask what's going on with me and myself. I've already become a happier person thanks to this project, and I hope that my new skills will also help to make your lives easier and happier now that I learned to communicate better with you, which is something I've always wanted to do. I guess it just seemed too hard, even though I care so much about all of you. So, in a nutshell, I learned that I really need to slow down and not live life so fast, just like you've always told me. I'm going to truly learn how to take a breath and sit back and just relax more often. Maybe I'll even teach you how to meditate in a minute.